Welcome to Beyond the Press Release, a production of Gorecom, in which we speak to small cap executives after they put out big news. With us today, Steve Saviak, CEO, Valeo Pharma, trades on the CSC under VPH. For our friends in the US, VPHIF, and for our friends in Europe, VP2. Big press release today coming from Valeo, who's generating millions of dollars in revenue. They're a revenue-generating Canadian pharmaceutical company that acquires Canadian rights to commercial stage innovative proprietary drugs and then commercializes them right through Canada. Today's press release, Valeo Pharma's Hesperco capsules at the core of Montreal Heart Institute's Hesperidin coronavirus clinical trial. That's a mouthful. Let's find out what it's about. Steve, welcome back.
George, nice to be back.
Hey, I want to show you something first for everyone at home. There, if you can see it. I know the background plays a little, but there's my Hesperco. All right. Ordered that, came in from Amazon.
You're taking it.
All right. So feeling healthier already. Before we talk about how this, this press release came about, there are going to be new people who are going to be watching. What is, let's talk about Hesperco first, and Hesperidin. Okay. Hesperidin obviously is the active ingredient, and your product, Hesperco. Give people the 60-second layman review on that.
Okay, so Hesperidin is a naturally derived substance that comes from the crust of citrus fruits. It's processed, and there's to derive a pure Hesperidin, and then we encapsulate it. So we put it into capsules, 500 milligram capsules. We do a couple of special things to the formulation to test for or to allow for water content, impurities, what have you. So what you get with our product is a 500 milligram capsule of Hesperidin, only one of its kind in Canada. We will be launching in the States. What people have found, and when I say people, researchers, over the last 20 years, is that Hesperidin has some very strong immune support properties. And these immune support properties help us get through times where our body's immune system may be compromised or overloaded with potentially viruses. Over the last 20 years, there was a particularly big body of research done specifically with Hesperidin as it relates to coronavirus. And the coronavirus is a core group of viruses, have the similar properties. SARS-CoV-1 was a coronavirus, or is a coronavirus. SARS-CoV-2, obviously another deadlier, more transmittable form. But on an annual basis, our bodies do get exposed in North America and around the world to coronaviruses. They're around, and some people say will always be around. That's something for the scientists to work out. What Hesperidin does, or seems to do, based on all the scientific research that's been done on it, is it helps, or the properties it has prevents the virus from entering the body through a specific mechanism. It also, if you're already infected, it slows down the reproduction. And both of these things are meant to help the body's immune system actually attack the virus, which is ultimately how we rid ourselves of all infection and viruses. Our own antibodies do the heavy lifting. The issue, though, is when these antibodies go into overdrive. And when you look at most of the hospitalizations of patients that had COVID-19 and people that end up in ICU, it's generally as a result of this, what they call cytokine storm, or this overexuberance of our body's own defense mechanism, which causes inflammation of the organs and causes difficulty breathing and some of these other features. So the Montreal Heart Institute, we presented, or our partner Ingenu Pharma presented, all of this body of data of research, which has been done by many different well-known institutions around the world.
Yep.
And the Montreal Heart Institute said this is a very interesting candidate to be tested on people that are COVID positive and display symptoms. And we are going to see versus placebo how much better people are, if any, taking Hesperidin versus placebo. So they're really trying to test to see what is the effectiveness of Hesperidin on this particular version, SARS-CoV-2 of coronavirus. So that led to the trial, and we're very excited about it. It's a 216 patient trial.
That's a big one.
Manufacture the product they're using Hesperco capsules. We manufactured the placebo, so the half of the group will be taking basically a sugar capsule. The other half will be taking hesperidin, and then they'll do some statistical analysis to see how did the hesperidin group fare against the placebo group. So very exciting trial. It's I think there's a lot of trials, as you know, undergoing or ongoing for the coronavirus. Some more successful than others. We're just very, very pleased to be part of this this trial and look forward to the results. And probably, I guess, 4 or 5 months from now.
So if everything goes well, is this the biggest trial of its kind in Canada? Because the Montreal Heart Institute is obviously a pretty serious player, and they're calling this the Hesperidin coronavirus study. If everything goes well, as you expect it to, based on not just your own hopes, but the medical research that's already been done, how does that impact the company?
It'll be significant. I mean, our company has a lot of products on the market and some new ones in the pipeline that are quite significant. This one will have a material impact. We do own the worldwide rights, so we are selling it currently in Canada. We anticipate launching it into the U.S. Certainly, the trial results would be would cause people to want to take it even more. And so it's interesting. We're not recommending, we're not even suggesting that people don't take other medication, that don't take vitamin C, that don't get vaccinated. We believe people should get vaccinated.
Of course.
But the vaccines that are out are not going to protect you from every virus that's available to, or that you'll come into contact with over the coming years. They're targeted at COVID-19. We're looking at a product that helps the immune system, supports the immune system. So whether it be a coronavirus or other viruses, what we believe is that your body would benefit from taking Hesperco. It's very inexpensive. It's about $1 a day, 2 capsules, no side effects. As I mentioned, it comes from the crust of an orange, so it has a long, but you can't take, can't take vitamin C. You can't drink enough orange juice. You can't eat enough oranges to give you the full load of hesperidin that our product takes, that our product gives.
Yeah, you're power packing it in there. You're power packing it right in there.
And I think it's, there's and again, this is not, I would say anecdotal in the sense of what we think or what we see. There's been a lot of research, especially in the last year, screening hesperidin, looking at how it affects the viruses. And the results are quite interesting. Now we're going to see how it works in the body, if it really has a dramatic impact. But I know it has a long history, hesperidin, of being a strong immune support product. So anyone who feels any immune support compromises, tiredness, cold weather, the flu season, I would suggest that, and I recommend that they take Hesperco.
Beyond just a great clinical trial result that you can show to people, if everything goes well, what do you expect the Montreal Heart Institute to do about it? For example, do they get out and do you expect to come out and really get behind Hesperco? Do you think they'll talk to the Quebec government, for example, as a first step? What do you think could come of a positive clinical trial?
What normally happens in this case is they would publish it. And this is what the Montreal Heart Institute is. As you know, it's world-renowned cardiology institute. It is that's one of their mandates is to publish scientific data. So I would imagine, regardless of the outcome, they would publish the results. And what's important is this statistical difference between the two groups. Clearly, we're looking at symptom relief. We actually want to prevent people from going to the hospital. We want you might have symptoms. We want your symptoms to be less impactful than they would be otherwise. And that's what they're going to try to measure in this trial. And hopefully the results will, if it carries through as other trials and as other studies have done to show that hesperidin actually has this very well known mechanical way of helping and the body to prevent and to defend itself against viruses.
The scientists at your development partner, Ingenue, I'm not sure how you
Ingenue. So
Ingenue, right? They performed extensive scientific, extensive scientific literature review, analysis, and that revealed that hesperidin was one of the few among hundreds of chemical entities that have been screened to effectively interfere or hinder with two of the key proteins of SARS-CoV-2. Why isn't that other pharmaceutical companies haven't jumped on? Because it almost seems like it's too good to be true. And are other pharmaceutical companies jumping on?
There's a couple of things, being a naturally derived product, and being a relatively low price product at a dollar a day. I think that big pharma has other sights set on other, whether it be the vaccine or whether it be other therapies for this virus or for other diseases. So I think it's a question of, it's just not a, in their minds, probably not a big enough candidate. But I will paraphrase what Pierre Laurent, who's the president of Ingenu, says, and he's a pharmacist, pharmacologist by training. Ingenu, by the way, is INGENEW. I would suggest going to the Ingenu Pharma website. You'll find a lot of this literature that I'm referring to, this scientific data, very smart group of guys and women that are very dedicated and very passionate about this specific disease. So what he says is you could not design a molecule to be better suited to defend your body than this product. And it's just a force of nature. It's just something that comes from nature. But what's important is there are different types of asparagine. You need to get the formulation or the specific type, which is pure asparagine. And you have to take it on an empty stomach. We recommend no food an hour before, no food an hour after. Better efficacy that way. Again, I can't tell your viewership enough, and I'm not just saying this because we're the owners of the product and we sell the product, but I think that do your own research. Even if you Google asparagine, and you'll see the properties it has. MD Briefcase, which we sent publishing an article a few weeks ago that did.
And we covered that in our last interview as well. I mean, that was incredible third-party validation.
So, you're looking at many, many products that were screened against the coronavirus, and asparagine was one of the few that interfered with the actual access of the virus to the body, and based on specific mechanical kind of blocking that it does. So it's it's interesting that nature would provide us with this basic ingredient that, of course, we process to make it a little more effective and a little more consistent, but very excited. And we're a pharma company. This is our first and only natural product. So our drugs are typically prescription drugs. They're synthetic chemistry drugs. They're biologics. They're quite sophisticated. And we took that kind of approach of being from a pharma approach to looking at saying, how do we develop a consistent capsule that no matter if you take it today or a month from now, you're getting the same dosage form. We're very keen to follow this trial and see.
And what's smart about that is you're not going to get big pharmaceutical companies compete against you, because what you said earlier, it's just not a high value enough product for them. By the way, how long from the time a customer starts taking these, do you think it'll start to build up the necessary, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant properties? How many, you take 2 of these a day, how long until you get to a point where you got a good level of protection?
Well, what's interesting is it's not a cumulative benefit, in the sense, if you take it one day, you're protected. If you don't take it the next day, you're not protected. So it basically effectively flushes out of your body within a period of about 24 hours. So that's why we recommend you consistently take it on a daily basis. But in terms of from the time you take your first couple of capsules, you're probably going to not feel the effects. You're not going to feel anything, but you would see the effects of blockage or viral protection within a few hours. So it's really recommended that you take it every day. As I said, it's a very safe product, so you don't have to worry. And people that say, well, I'm a diabetic, can I take it? It's derived from citrus fruit. There's actually no sugar in this product, 0 sugar. So it's safe to take in that case. And as I mentioned, side effect profile has been longly demonstrated over a long period of time. that there's no significant side effects. So
And folks,
we,
I got this from Amazon. Okay, Hesperco. All
we
right,
will make it available
see it right there.
across Canada shortly. We're waiting for this news to come out, and we will be taking it into the U.S. Initially through Amazon and then through some other specialty retailers, probably starting in mid-March or so. But yes, available Amazon.ca or Hesperco.com website. As I mentioned, $1 a day. It's about $30 for 60 capsules, 2 capsules a day lasts you a month.
Can't go wrong. I know you're in a rush, so a couple of last minute quick questions. Devil's advocate. We're now starting to hear about variants of of COVID-19 virus. Would Hesperco still, and Hesperidin obviously itself, but would Hesperco still be effective against these variants?
What we the variants are relatively recent, but the basic concept is the same. The key to your body is this, they enter your body in the same way. So the theory is if asparagine has some effect in blocking the SARS-CoV-2 original, if you will, variant, then it would be presumably equally effective against the other variants.
Steve, congratulations on this amazing third-party validation. I mean, you've had it all along, but to have Montreal Heart Institute conduct the Hesperidin coronavirus study with your Hesperco capsules at the core of that study is great. Can't wait to see the result. I won't be surprised by it, that's for sure. But still, let's get it out officially from the Montreal Heart Institute. But in the meantime, for everyone at home, I've ordered it. Go do your research. Don't just order because I did. And I certainly didn't order it just because Steve's a client. I did my research. I took a look at the MD Briefcase study that came out. MD Briefcase, I get that right?
That's correct, yeah.
MD Briefcase.
Widely available. You have to be a subscriber to their site. But essentially, they compared hesperidine against vitamin C. And I know there's a number of vitamin C studies ongoing for against COVID-19. But essentially, what the research showed is that vitamin C has very limited effect, if any, on the virus. It certainly doesn't block it from entering your body or help with or prevent or slow down the reproduction. And they came out basically saying or indicating that hesperidine had much stronger properties for those particular activities.
Congratulations, my friend. Can't wait to, I know the study's going to take 4 months or so, but can't wait to see the unveiling of the US e-commerce, more retail in Canada. That's going to be great developments, and we'll have you back at that time.
Yeah, well, stay tuned. I'd love to be back with more news, and hopefully that'll be shortly.
I get the feeling you will, because we've had John pretty steady, that's for sure. But thanks for joining us again today, Steve.
Great. Thanks, George.
For everybody at home, you've been watching or you've been listening by podcast via Spotify, Google, Apple, your favorite podcast platform. To Steve Saviuk, he's CEO of Valeo Pharma, trades on the CSC under VPH, VPHIF in the US, and VP2 for our friends in Europe. Do your due diligence, get to Agoracom, go to the company's hub, take a look at all the research and everything we got there for you. It's nice and neatly laid out for you in layman's terms. Then hop over to the Valeo website, do some more research, and hopefully discover your next great and amazing small cap company. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. See you next time.